All right, guys. Hey, it's Kate with Kate's Regretless Life. Let's get on into this, shall we? We're going to take a look at what are the symbols of the day, what messages come out. And we start out with the Eight of Water, so Eight of Cups coming out sideways. We may have anything from a masculine who is doing like a PowerPoint presentation or wearing perhaps like a really awesome looking three-piece suit. We've got kind of a classic or even, let's say, old time photography. Like someone could be looking through black and whites, maybe historical photos even. But this Eight of Cups is normally about somebody who is choosing to go a certain direction. Now, this could be connected to someone's lineage. They may be looking through old photos of a family member, perhaps, and, you know, kind of like thinking about the pioneering spirit of an ancestor, perhaps, and how that relates to them nowadays. So we could have somebody who's being inspired by either the ancestry that they hail from, or just becoming aware that there's you know, we stand on the shoulders of giants, right? We all come from a lineage of individuals who've, you know, made their way through this world. But in particular, we could have somebody really celebrating the past and being inspired to take some steps in their own life. We have a Nine of Fire, so a Nine of Wands. This can be a card of wounded energy, but we've got the tiger standing beside her. I don't see this as somebody who's wounded so much as somebody who's about to take on the next big bite. Now, we could have somebody overseeing a city. They could, you know, park at the top of a hill and look across a city. This could be an individual who's looking for a new place to live. Maybe they're looking online, checking out different areas in a city or some place that they intend to move to. This could also just be someone who's looking at the skyline and of their own city where they live, and they just sense that this is me embarking on my next chapter. Now, we also have the Magician, which is Virgo Gemini energy coming through, and we've got things like electricity. Be mindful, you know, if you're wearing socks and reaching out, somebody who's reaching out, like touching a handle of a doorknob or something, or, you know, flipping like a blanket and making that static electricity. We could have a little bit of that, but also a day to be mindful of electronic devices, things that plug in. Be mindful that that does have, you know, flowing electricity through it, and to be careful that, you know, we work with electricity carefully and mindfully and respectfully. But more than anything, we have got, you know, a light bulb that might need to be fixed, or a light bulb that is flickering. That could go along with the idea of what a character is contemplating doing. They're making a change. You're about to do something a little bit different. Let's see if we can take a closer look at what this is. This is something that our characters wanted to do for some period of time. They may have held off taking this action for themselves because they had some wounded energy, but they're about to do something pretty brave, I think. We have the Temperance card sideways, which is all about balancing energy. It's about fair energy. It's about letting go of one thing, inviting something else in. It is Sagittarius energy. And here we have some other symbols. Here could be somebody wearing a long pearl necklace. We may have somebody like pouring paint into paint cans, or mixing colors together, or making a beverage. I'm thinking like bartender style, you know, making a mixed drink with, you know, two different things being poured in at the same time. But we certainly have a character who's about to make some changes that are right for them. Now, this could be two changes happening simultaneously. Throwing the switch, throwing a breaker, that could be another symbol here. But it feels like a character is about to do something maybe that'll impact two aspects of their life at the same time, but it would be for positive purpose. Oh, it's for leadership. Yeah, Aries energy. So definitely strong leadership. Motorcycle helmets, or a welder's helmet that is flipped up, could be an energy today. Also, somebody wearing a really, really wide belt, possibly a gold belt. Also like an arm cuff, or a wider, thicker bracelet on their arm. That could all be, even somebody, I'm sorry to backtrack here, but even someone who's got like a wrist brace on, possibly even two, you know, both of their wrists. This is somebody who's unafraid to take a step forward. Also, somebody with a mustache could be a symbol as well, part of that leadership. This is standing up to someone like that, or being the individual who is like there's some particular I'll say feature on a character that makes them stand out in a group. Maybe they have a certain style of, dressing, but this is a character who's about to do something in their own life for their own change and productivity. And I do think it's two things that will be altered in their life today, but it's on their own accord. It's them putting it into action. I don't even know that I think this is somebody speaking up for themselves saying like, oh, I'm not going to do this anymore, or I am going to do this, or I feel like this is something that's so personal. I don't even know that it's something where a character has to stand up to anybody else. This is more about them taking action in their own life than it is about like pushing back or, rearranging something. I would argue this to me feels like we have a character who is aware that they come from a long line of pioneering spirits. Maybe they're an inventor, maybe there's somebody who wants to put a patent on something, or maybe this is a character who wants to change something in their life. Let's say start a side hustle, create like a website to start selling their art. Maybe they're an artist, they're a painter, or they're thinking about, taking the first steps toward, going to bartending school, or taking on a job where they really want to, make a name for themselves in doing something. They could also just be brave enough to wear a different kind of outfit and change their style, maybe do something dramatic with a hairstyle, or, grooming their facial hair or something along those lines. Whether it's a feminine or a masculine is irrelevant, but we could have somebody who's just brave enough to start making some changes that really will show their own kind of like pioneering spirit. And that is ultimately to bring them to greater happiness. A sundial, a cat, an image of a mountain or a mountainous and lake environment could also be really visible for our character today. It could also be a very sunny day wherever our character is, and it's just like, you know what? This feels like a day for clarity. It feels like a day for me to take these steps in my own life, lead the way forward for the life I want to have, embark. Like I'm hearing that song, We Built the City on Rock and Roll, coming to my mind right now. But I feel like this character wants to like take this city by storm in the best of ways. We have the astrology card here, and it could be that our character has looked into their astrological placements in their chart. They have discovered that it's an auspicious timeline, perhaps, to start a new project or to take an action in their life, and they're just like, I'm ready for this. Other symbols for the day could have to do with somebody who's literally looking up, the current planetary placement. So like looking at a natal chart, for example. Someone else could also be going to like a planetarium and actually, learning something about the stars. But we also have the energy of the divine, kind of like an image of the Madonna, or the image of an angel. You notice we have angel wings here on her as well. But again, kind of like a classical painting style of either the Madonna or the angels, possibly like a Raphael or Da Vinci kind of painting, perhaps. But we've got a character who's pretty much saying, I know it's the right time. Everything is aligned for me, and I'm happy with the idea of taking this step. Now, somebody maybe wants to start becoming an astrologer. That could be, it's the right time of my life for me to focus on learning something about this material, something I'm interested in. I want to go ahead and do this for myself or for others. I feel like maybe I have a gift that I've inherited through my ancestors. Maybe I should go ahead and, finally step forward. It definitely feels like stepping forward to do something brave or something that is true for them. That the impetus to do that and to be a leader and to just, hang your shingle out and be your own boss, or start something that, is one's own like gifts or talents being on display. I feel like that is part of our character's healing journey, but it's also a part of them like honoring the gifts that they possess, or the energy of the ancestors. This feels like our character knows This makes them happy, so they're going to go for it. This is an exciting day for a character. They are starting something. I could see somebody starting a website. I could see a character, like I say, checking in on their natal chart and saying, I'm really interested in X, Y, or Z, and I just know that this is the right time, so I'm going to go ahead and proceed with, maybe some caution, but still I'm taking these steps to make some changes in my life, and it begins today. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with me. If you are looking for my other content, just know that I put out all of the zodiacs. I do at least two for every zodiac each week. You will find those in playlists that are titled for each zodiac. I also do singles storylines 3 times a week, and another kind of like daily message. So anyway, guys, if you're looking for anything, you'll find it on Case Regretless Life, and you can check out those playlists or check the live tab. Most all of my content is live streamed, other than this video series that comes out every day at 5 a.m. for the symbols and signs. All right, take care. Bye.